Hey, vinyl community! It's a time for a little collection update. Death metal this time. I've been on a pretty huge death metal kick during the last couple of weeks, so I bought some stuff. In the background, we're listening to A Revel in Flesh and their debut album Death Evocation. Band from Germany. This is the tape version, limited to 100, out on War Anthem Records. This came out in 2012, and I was introduced to the band by my friend Sven from Fleshcrawl. Rest in peace, my friend. Yes. We listened to it in his car when we were going to have dinner, so he played me that. I've known the two guys, the two main guys in Revel in Flesh. They had a fanzine called Mystical Music back in the day when we were a demo band in the early 90s. And around 2010 they decided to start a band. So Revel in Flesh has a couple of albums out. I think it's 5 or 6. They are not a two-piece anymore. They play live shows and they are a really good live band. On that one they do a cover song. The last song on the album is a cover by Benediction, title track of their first album, Subconscious Terror. So, before we start, it's time for a drink. It's getting fall, and around here we have a little speciality. This is called Fränkischer Federweißer. You can translate that. Word for word, it's Franconian feather white. This is wine before it is wine. This is made out of grapes, like wine, and during the fermentation process, before it really gets a real wine, like I said, it's fermentating grapes. If you drink too much, the potty calls because it's yeah it cleans all your stomach. So it has to be ice cold, like you see here. This has got 11%, and like I said, wine before it is wine, so you don't need a wine glass. Look at that. It's a little sparkling, so there are special caps for that. You can't really close the bottle and you can lie it down. The bottle has to be open a little bit, otherwise it would explode. So you might ask how that tastes. It smells sour as hell. I haven't had one of those since. I didn't have one the last 2 years, so since 3 years I saw that. It smells sour, but it tastes pretty sweet. It depends on the fermentation process, where you are. That drink can be really sour. It always smells sour, but this one is just right for a big headache and an empty stomach the next day. Yeah, This shit is like medicine. It cleans out your body. Okay, let's start. I've got 3 CDs and I've got 3 LPs. Let's start in Sweden. Like I said, I was on a death metal kick in the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to have a little bit grindy stuff. And I realized I did not have that anymore. I had the original version of Necrony's Pathological Performances. So I had to buy a reissue. This one is released originally in 1993, recorded by Den Svanö. This is a reissue on Bitter Loss Records. This is Swedish death metal mixed with early carcass. So death metal grindcore mix with a Swedish production. Great stuff. I loved the band when I bought their this CD when it first came out. The original was out on Poser Slaughter out of Berlin, but the original CD is pretty pricey, so I got that one for a couple of euros, and it did the job. I'm not as anal about original CDs. Compared to my issues with reissues. So no problem. This one doesn't have any bonus tracks. That is a bonus for me, if that makes sense. Let's stay in the north of Europe. Is it Europe? Now they are in the EU. Back then they weren't. Let's go to Finland and Depravity and their EP Silence of the Centuries. This one comes with a 3-track demo as a bonus track. Yes, it has bonus tracks, but these couple of songs were the only songs Depravity released. This is the demo cover. This came out in 1991, 1992. This is a Dark Descent. Is it? Yeah, Dark Descent re-released. I've seen the cover back in the day, but I never bothered to buy it because yeah, I don't know what's up with these Smurf creatures, and I never bothered to listen. I was around 17, 18, 19 when this came out, so I did not have the money to buy all stuff I wanted to listen to. And that one I didn't even have a tape copy, so I never heard it until a couple of weeks ago. So great Finnish death metal. This one it has guttural vocals, but not unrecognizable, and it has some black metal style riffing, but in the death metal style. So Finnish death metal has always been strange. Depravity is strange. Yeah, I love that one. That is probably the favorite out of these CDs. Or maybe that one. This is another band that was from Sweden, and they released an album on Trash Records from France in 1992, and I never had the chance to listen to it. Like with the Depravity, I didn't have a tape copy of that. I listened to a couple of songs the other day and decided I want the CD. This is Epitaph with their Seeming Salvation album, recorded at Sunlight Studios. The guitar sound is a little bit different though. There's a little story about the sound on the album. So Usually in Sunlight for the guitar sound they used the HM2 pedal and a small PV combo. They used some other pedals and they used a Marshall JMC 800, so an old Marshall with a pedal. And another combo, this is like, yeah, a full Marshall stack, so to say. The sound on it, I love it. It's a little bit different, like I said, from the other Sunlight sound. Yeah. The riffs on this are a little thrashier. We see if I can get that out. Blast beats. There are blast beats in the music because on their earlier stuff, before they recorded the album, they played a little bit in the vein of Carcass. So their early demos were thrashy. And then they became a little bit more grindy, and then they went back to the thrash riffing. Nice little CD reissue. Comes with the lyrics, some flyers, and like I said, a little story about the recording of the album. Pretty interesting. I read that in the bathtub yesterday. So if you haven't heard Epitaph and you like Swedish death metal, do check it out. This one was released in 1992. It was recorded in 91, but the label delayed it for about a year, and that year made the difference. So I read about Epitaph back then. Like I said earlier, I never bothered to listen to it until a couple of weeks ago. So great one that I missed out when it came out. It is how it is. Now I've got it. Next up. In my last video I told you that I found Scream Bloody Gore for a decent price and Spiritual Healing by Death for a decent price, original presses. I since sold my Relapse reissues, so now the album in the middle was missing, and I looked around and yes, I found a copy. Original press, original European press, under one flag. Look at that. That's a little ding here. Look at the corners. It fits right in with the other reissues that I have. Great stuff. And let me tell you one thing. I compared it to the remastered reissue. This one sounds way better. Original inner sleeve in perfect condition. This is how I remember the album to be. The reissue looks, the color is different. The logo has a different size. The cover is a little bit zoomed in. The back looks completely different. The inner looks completely different. This is how I remember it from my youth. So I am glad I found that for yes. Trust me, it was a really good price. It was not 20 euros, but yeah. Under one flag. This one was classified VG only. But he sent me a photo and the album looks like unplayed. He graded it VG. Perfect condition. Trust me, I listened to it a couple of times. No issues, no background noises, no skips, no pops, no crackles. It is like I bought it new 88 when it came out. So, cheers. Ah, oh, this is so good. Ah. All right, two more death metal vinyl records. Those two are from the very early 90s. We played with that band a couple of times. I had those two albums on tape. I never got the CDs. Back then they were released on CD only, and I tried to get the CDs, but the original CDs, they go for quite some money. So I was searching around a little bit and I found out some strange label reissued those on vinyl. So, alright. We're talking about Germany's Obscenity. This is Suffocated Truth, their debut album from 1992. 9 songs of brutal underground death metal. The label is Huang Quan Records. From, I don't know, Malaysia, something like that. Some strange, and this is Huang Quan #1. This is from 2022. So, Obscenity, German death metal. It's fast, it's guttural, there's a little bit of suffocation in here, but not that much groove or breakdowns. There are blast beats in there. There is primitive old school death metal riffing. Great album. I'm so glad I finally found a copy of that, and on vinyl. Stop systematic killing in the age of brutality. Still fits. Ha! So that's what. Let me see if there's a download code. No. The only issue that I have with that version, Roga, there is no black version of the album, unfortunately. But for some reason this is I don't know, I think the announcement said 180 gram, but this feels like almost like 500 gram record. So this is a translucent shit brown with blood and pus and some, yeah, rainbow splatter. I don't know. Sounds great though. And the other one, their second album, was also reissued on vinyl, Perversion Mankind. This one is from 1994, and this is Hurt Knurf label #2. Also great, a little bit more technical than the first one. Just great death metal. If you don't know that band, look them up. I don't know why I did not. This one comes with the lyrics. I don't know why I didn't buy the CDs when we played with the band. Don't ask me now, I never bothered. Yeah. It's a shame. I've got some of their later albums on CD, when they got more technical and more brutal. I will talk about these in another video. And this is I don't know. It's yeah, Beautiful. All right, that's it. 20 minutes for 6. Okay, I explained about my drink. Cheers. Revel in flesh. So, I think my next video will be an entry for the task Thomas at Merciful Metal brought out, asking us to do our favorite first song on any album. I have to think about that because that is quite heavy. Yeah, but let's see. Maybe I will find 2 or 3 or 5. I'm not sure if it will be 10. Yeah, probably not. All right. So have a nice weekend and see you soon. Good night.